Okay, the test is going to be on Monday, so it's very important that we go ahead and get ready for it. There are two main things you'll be working on the systems test. The first one, if the equation looks like this, know that you're going to be graphing a line. If you have two of them, realize you're going to be graphing two lines. If you have an equation that looks like this, realize that you're going to be graphing a line and then shading it, either on top or on the bottom. So the difference is always going to be this thing right here. So make sure that you're looking whether you're going to need a shade or whether you're just going to be drawing a line. This is very important because this is what the test is divided by: inequalities and equations, system of equations or systems of inequalities. So be very careful of that. Make sure you're looking at that first before you answer your question. First thing we're going to be working on is graphing linear equations. That's 4 points on the test. What you're going to be is graphing something that has an equal sign. Remember, this means it's going to be just a line. So the way you do that is you always take the y-intercept. That's on the y-axis, positive 4. Put a dot there. This is a slope, which is rise over run. There's no number in the bottom, so I put 1. So you're going to rise 2, run 1. Rise 2, run 1. Rise 2, run 1. Or you can go backwards, down 2, left 1, down 2, left 1, down 2, left 1, down 2, left 1. And that's how you make a straight line. It's the same exact thing. Again, it's an equal sign, which means you're going to be graphing a line. It says minus 4, which means the y-intercept is at negative 4. So I go to the y-axis, all the way to negative 4, put a dot right there, and then I'm going to have a negative 1/2. That's what's written right here. You're going to rise, negative 1, that means down 1, and you're going to run 2. So down 1, run 2, down 1, run 2, down 1, run 2. On a test, in order for you to get any kind of points on it, make sure you have to see the points there. That way we know that you didn't just kind of approximate by looking at the calculator. But if you do want to use the calculator, that's also acceptable. Just go to y equals, type it up. And instead of don't go here. Here we go, see what it looks like. See, it looks the same, but it's not very accurate. You're going to need to go to the table. 0, 4. There's a dot. 1, 6. There's a dot. So you could do it by using the table in your calculator, or you could do it by using the trick of the y-intercept and rise over run. Either which way it's going to work. There's only 4 points on the test off of this, so good luck. Second part of the test is graphing linear inequalities. Now, it looks just like that. It has the same process, but this one has an inequality, which means it has 3 parts. First thing, I'm going to get 2 points. I'm going to pick a line, and I'm going to shade it. These are the 3-step process I take. This is the y-intercept. I go to y-intercept at 4. That's my first dot. Negative 2 over 3. Notice how the negative is in the front right here. Just take it out, put it on top. Negative 2, so that's rise over run. I'm going to come down 2 and run 3. Down 2, run 3. There's my points. So I got my points. Now, I'm going to pick a line, whether the line is a solid or the line is dashed. As you notice, right there, it has a solid line. So this is going to be a solid line. Second thing, I got to pick where I'm going to shade. Since it says less than, less means you shade the lower part, low. This is the bottom part, so that's the part I shade. Seems like a lot of stuff, but in reality, we're just doing 3 things. We're finding 2 points or 3 points. In this case, I'd pick 3, but you can only use 2 points. You pick a line, and you shade. Why am I doing all that? Because of this sign. If it was an equal sign, it's just a line. If it's an inequality, that's when you have to do all this. Now we'll start with the y-intercept, negative 4. And then that's negative 2, which is negative 2 over 1. So I'm rising negative 2, that means coming down 2, and right 1. So from this spot, I go down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1. I only needed 2 points, I put 4. Now I pick a line, whether it's solid or dashed. I have to look at the inequality. See, there's no solid line, so this is not a solid line. This is a dashed line. This one does not say low. So it's not an L. It's not lower. So it has to be the upper. Upper is upwards. That's up. Next part of the test is how to find a solution. If you're looking for solutions, that means you're going to have to pick an area. Now you have 3 different areas. You have an area that has no filling, no shade. You have an area over here that has shaded one type, only one shade. You have an area right here that has one shade, and you have an area here that is double shaded. Can you tell? Nothing, light shade, dark shade. Okay, this is where all the solutions are. Not here, not here, not here. The double shaded area is the only place that has both shades on. This is the only place where you will find a solution. So you need to list 3 points that are in here. For example, 0, 0, 1, 1, 10, 10. There's a bunch of other lines there. 3 points that are in solution. Well, anything in here is not a solution. 4, 0, 5, negative 4, or negative 1, negative 8. Solution is in the double shaded. Non-solutions are here, here, or here. None of these are solutions. Here, you're asked to do both. First, you are to graph, and then you have to name 3 points that are solutions. So we'll start with graphing. By the way, that's not an equal sign, so that means we're going to need 2 points, a line, and we're going to have to shade it. If that was an equal sign, just a line. Alright, so the y-intercept is positive 4. And then the slope of the rise over run is positive 2 over 1. So you're going to go up 2, run 1, up 2, run 1. Again, 2 over 1, this is the rise, this is the run. If that's positive, you go up. If that's negative, you come down. Alright, I got my points. Now I got to pick a line. This is either solid or dashed. I don't see a solid line. They don't have that. So it's not a solid line. It's going to be a dashed line. Now I got to pick the shade. It says lower, low, so the lower portion of it. Now, 3 points are in the shaded area. This is no solution right here. This is the solution area. Here's 1. Here's 2. Here's 3. I mean, you could have picked anywhere over here, over here, over here. All these are shaded. By the way, that was 8 points on the test. The next part's even more. The next part's 18 points. Here, we just want you to shade. See that? We've already graphed. All you have to do is pick where you're going to shade. So we don't need to do the 2 points. They've already done it for us. We don't need to pick a line. They already picked it for us. All we have to do is the third part, shade. So we'll start with the first one, positive 2. Then is down 2, right 3. So we're talking about this line right here. That line says greater than. That's not low. See that? So we're not going to go under it. We're going to go above it. So if it looks like an L for low, you put under it. If it's not an L, it's above. Let's go for the next one. This is a positive 2. And the rise over run is 3 over 1. So you're going to go up 3, right 1. We're talking about this line. See that? That one looks like that. That's low. So I'm going to take this line, and I'm going to shade under it, below it. Alright, my fault. This line right here. And I'm going to shade below it. Okay, so this part, that's below it. That's where the down arrow is. Now, no solution, no solutions, no solutions, solutions. All the solutions in a doubly shaded area. Now, this time to say, if I give you this graph, give me the equation, and that's pretty easy. To graph an inequality, you always put 2 points, you pick a line, and then you shade. Now, we're going backwards. So first thing I'm going to look at is the shade. It's shaded in the bottom part. So this is a less than. The shaded in below, in the low, so that's less than. Now I look at the line. The line is solid, so it has one of these. Now, I need to find 2 points. Here's one. No good. Too low. Right there. That's the second good point. And that's 3. Looks like -8. I'm sorry. This is 0, -6. Alright, 0, -6. 3, -8. Stat enter. Y equals AX plus B. B is -6. Now A is 0.666666667. Math, enter, enter. That's 2/3. It's -2/3 x minus 6. Now, of course, you could have done this by hand. This is mx plus b. B is the y-intercept. M is the slope. And you do that by finding the slope by y minus y and x minus x. Or, same answer for the calculator. Your choice. Alright. What would an inequality look like if it has no solution? Now remember, the solution is where it's shaded twice. So if it's going to have no solution, that means it is not shaded twice. Let me show you what that looks like. We're going to go ahead and graph an equation. They're going to be parallel, because no solutions are always parallel. And the top part's going to be shaded, and the bottom part's going to be shaded. Now notice something. There's nothing here that's shaded twice. There's no solution here because it's not shaded. No solution here because it's only shaded once. And no solution here because it's only shaded once. There's nowhere where it's shaded twice. Write an inequality that has infinite solutions. Now remember, infinite solutions means that it's shaded twice. But also, infinite solution means it's the same equation. So in that case, what I would do is I would draw the same line. Here's the first one, shade on top. Here's the second one, right on top of it, shaded again. So every single point up here is shaded. Alright, graphing systems, 12 points. Now notice something real quick. There is no shade. No shade. So you're not going to be using these. These are going to be just equal signs. So, these have no shade. Okay, so let's take a look at them again. Here it says find the solution. This is parallel. Has no solution. These are intersecting. It does have one solution. But you can't say one solution. The reason why you can't say one solution is because it's a point. You have to actually give me the coordinates. In this case, that's -5, 4. That's the solution. Now, it says, given the graph, approximate the solution. Remember, the solution, when it comes down to inequalities, is what it's shaded twice. But when it comes down to systems, is what two lines meet. In this case, they don't meet, but they will. So if you take this line right here, and you take this line right here, they don't meet in this graph. But it seems like they're going to meet right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to approximate it. On the test, it's going to be a multiple choice question. So out of all the answer choices, only one of them is going to make sense. In this case, I would say this is like -13. I'd say this is about like 20. So approximately, negative 1320. Now again, you might have a different number, but as long as the first one's negative is more than 10, and the second one's positive more than 10, you get it counted correctly. Let's try it again. Again, in this point, these lines do not match yet, they're not touching, but if we continue them, they will touch. So if you don't have a bunch of pencils, you could just continue the line a little bit. And if you could tell, somewhere around negative 20, somewhere around negative 20. So as long as you have a number bigger than 10 that's negative here, and a number that's bigger than 10 that's negative here, then you have the right answer. There's also going to be some vocabulary and some understanding questions on this test. First thing it says for systems, again remember systems, there's no shade, unless it's systems inequalities. When it says inequalities like these, then you're shading. But it doesn't say inequalities, just systems. So if it's parallel, how many solutions does it have? The answer is none. If it's the same line, two same lines, right on top of each other, how many times do they touch? Many times. So we call that infinitely many solutions. How many solutions if you have intersecting lines? That's lines that just intersect, touch each other. One solution. And for this one, you need to actually find it and name it. What is the point of intersection you're giving you? So wherever the point of intersection is, we call that a solution. The solution of a system is any value that makes both equations true. Whenever you have two equations and you find a point where they intersect, it is on this one, so that one's true, and it's on the other line, so it makes both equations true. There's also going to be questions on the test where it's systems, but it's on the table. The way to work out the table is I want you to think of those lines. Here's the intersecting lines. If this is a person right here, and this is a person right here, the only place they can meet is right there. There's only one place, there's only one solution. So I want you to think that this is the first person, and this is the second person. Whenever they're at the same spot, that's where the solution is. That's the point of intersection. So, not in the same number, not in the same spot, 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 ding, 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 right there. You see that? They're in the same spot. They're both at 140. So, this is the solution. It's 160 and 140. Now, every point has an x and a y value, so you're going to take this value, you're going to take this value, but you will not take this value. It's going to be the same number anyways. There's no need to write it down twice. Again, y1 is the first person, y2 is the second person. Here, the table was joined. Here, the table is separated. It doesn't change. We're still looking at the y's. Here, the boy's at 5. The girl's never at 5. Negative 7. He's never at negative 7. He's at 11. Here's at 11. Uh-oh. He's got a negative 1. He's at negative 1. So it's either going to be this one, 511, 511. Those look the same. Or negative 1, positive 1. See how these are different? So these are different. These are different, 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 different. The only time this guy's going to be in the same spot as the girl is when he's on 511. When he's on point 511, she's going to be on point 511. And that's where they're going to be able to meet up. Let's take a look at it again. This is the first person. This is the second person. They're both at 2. They're both at 5. They're both at 8. They're both at 11. So there's many answers. Not just one place where they're meeting. There's many places they're meeting. So write that down as infinitely many. And let's try this one. He's at 2, she's at 5. He's at 3, she's at 7. He's at 4, she's at 8, 9. He's at 5, she's at 11. Guess what? There's no solutions. There's no place where they meet. This one right here is 20 points. This is the one that has the most. It's very important, and you spend a lot of time working on this one. Notice it's an equal sign, so we're going to be drawing two lines, no shading. So this is extremely important that you pay attention to this one, okay? First of all, if I'm going to have to do this, the first thing I have to do is I have to solve for y equals. In order to solve for y equals, you put multiply and divide on top of the y. plus or minus on top of the x. That's a positive x already. And y has a 1 in front of it. It's already multiplying it. So we're going to subtract an x from both sides. And you want to put the x in the front. That's 1x, so I put a 1 in front of it. And then I'm going to divide by 1. I'm going to end up with y equals negative 1x plus 5. Now this is y equals mx plus b. So the b is 5. The m is negative 1. Do not put a letter here. Okay, these are numbers. Now I have to graph that. So I have y equals negative 1x plus 5. This is my y-intercept. So I go to positive 5 and put a dot. My rise over run, again, when there's no number there, you put a 1, is a negative 1, which is down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. Alright, now I gotta graph the other one. Again, it's an equal sign, no shading. On top of the y, that's multiply divide. On top of the x, it's a plus or minus. That's already a negative. That's already multiplying by 4. So I'm going to add an x. Again, that's 1. So we'll put a 1 in front of it. When these cross out, try to put the 1x in the front and the negative 20 in the back. Now I'm going to divide by 4. We end up with y equals positive 1/4 x minus 5. Remember, y equals mx plus b. b is negative 5. M is 1/4. No letters, just numbers right there. Now, I can go ahead and graph it. The y-intercept is negative 5. I'm going to rise 1, run 4. Graph. Did it. Find the solution. The solution is the point of intersection. And that looks like 8, negative 3. If I want to really make sure, I go to my calculator and turn it on. Y equals, I'll put the first equation, negative 1x plus 5. Now put in the second equation, is 1/4 x minus 5. Now I graph it. Look at that. It looks just like that. I feel good about it. I go to the table. Is there any point where they're together? Right there. 8, negative 3, negative 3. I also can go second trace, 5, enter, enter, enter. And it actually tells me the intersection is 8, negative 3. So I feel good about it. Good luck y'all on the test.